أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our dear viewers, and welcome to another episode on the life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, coming to you from MTA International Gambia studios. If you will remember, in our previous episodes we have discussed extensively about the Battle of Badr and the aftermath as well of the Battle of Badr, and that is the 3 days the Prophet ﷺ spent in the valley of Badr after the battle, and that was to bury those who were dead, both Muslims and non-Muslims, as well to attend to those who were wounded in the battle. And today specifically we are going to discuss about the war captives. We have mentioned before that there were 70 members of the Meccan army who were captured by the Muslims, and we will today look at how the Muslims treated these war captives. To help us discuss this topic, I am joined again by Ustaz Almami Balajo, who is on my immediate right. He is an Ustaz of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. Ustaz, assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program.
Alaikum assalam. Jazakallah for having me here.
Yeah, on his right too, we have another familiar face on this program, that is brother Said Sambaso. Said, assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program.
Alaikum assalam.
Ustaz Alman Balaja, as we have just said, today we are going to talk about the war captives. And we know that the Prophet ﷺ himself made a statement. We just start from that. He made a statement that if one of the people of Mecca, that is Mut'im bin Adi, was alive, if he asked the Prophet ﷺ to release all of the Meccan army, all of them who were captured, he would readily release them, because that Mut'im might have done something good for them in the Jahiliyyah period. Can you tell us about that? Why would Prophet ﷺ would even go to an extent of saying, even if this individual was alive, I will release all these captives just for his sake?
Yes, Ustaz Sahib, Jazakumullah Ahsan al-Jaza for this, for having me here, first of all, and I thank Allah for giving me this opportunity to be part of this program. And in fact, like you just mentioned, it came in a hadith that one of the sons of this Mut'im bin Adi is reported to have said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said after this Battle of Badr in Medina, that will that Mut'im is alive, if he was alive, were to be alive today, and he asked me about the releasing of these captive, I will have released them for his sake. This is a great declaration, is a wonderful one, but look what is inside it. For only one person, his sake only, all these 70 captives of the Quraysh, who were staunch enemy of Islam, and they were hell-bound to destroy the Muslim, and they came out for this purpose, captured already, and then only for one person's sake, the Holy Prophet ﷺ wished that if he were to be alive, he would have released these people. Why? What have he done to deserve this? In history, we learn that this man, he possessed a great noble disposition, as a result of which the Holy Prophet ﷺ made mention of this, because one or twice in history, 2 incidents came, which were very, very much clear in his history, even in the lifetime of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, when he used to be a disbeliever, and he died, of course, he died in this being a idol worshipper, but he have a great concern for the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam specifically, and the Muslim in general. When the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in particularly, he went to Taif, when coming back to Makkah, he was the one who accompanied him as his protector. So, and another occasion also, when this document was drafted in Makkah, which resulted the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his Sahaba to be expelled or to be exiled out of the premises of Makkah to Abi Talib.
The boycott.
Yeah, the boycott, yeah.
Exactly.
The boycott, when he was boycotted and his companions. Then his wife was alive, Hatar Khadija, radiallahu ta'ala anha, and then some other companions. they were there. This boycott document, it was torn up by this Mut'im bin Adi because of these two specific incidences, and maybe also some other incidences also. The Holy Prophet ﷺ wished that the concern he showed to the Muslim, and particularly to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he wished that because of that good nature he had, if he plead on to him on behalf of these captives, he will have released them. So that's also that the Holy Prophet ﷺ never forget a good thing done to him. So he always pay you back, and he never thinks that he has already paid you. When you do him good, he will take it upon himself to even be doing more greater good to you, even if you are not alive.
Thank you very much, Ustaz Almahin Balajo. And Brother Said Samaso, we have heard what Ustaz Balajo have already said, but that has not made very clear to us how these 70 captives were treated. And so we would want to know how these people were treated, because the Holy Prophet ﷺ simply said if Mut'im bin Adi was alive and he pleaded on behalf of these 70 who were captives of war, he would have readily released them. But Mut'im was already dead, and there was none who pleaded on their behalf, and so they were not released. They were still captives. So how did the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the Muslims in general treated these war captives?
Thank you for having me, first of all. The question is very important, because here we are going to see a very high standard moral quality of the Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As Ustaz Balajo has already mentioned, that Mut'im was a noble person, despite him not being a believer. He was having this sense of nobility in him, because he have already mentioned it by tearing that cruel document that was pasted at the Kaaba to show that these people are no more allowed to be in this place, to enjoy the company of the people, to associate with them. That is the boycott we generally see. He tore that to make sure that that cruel document is no more there, so that the Holy Prophet and his people will be allowed to come back. That is a very important thing that he have done, looking at the nature of the disbelievers towards the Holy Prophet. And also we know the suffering that the Holy Prophet has gone through when he went to Taif, and when he's coming back. This was the custom of Arabs. This was their way, that when somebody is coming back, is entering their town, he went out entering, so he must have somebody who accompany him to enter there. They call it permit. So, but then, since now this Mut'im is not alive, the Holy Prophet ﷺ was saying that if he had been alive, he would have released them. But he mentioned one thing: without ransom. This is a very important thing that he said. He would have released them without any ransom if he was alive, because of that action. But seeing that also, we have seen what the Holy Prophet said to the companion regarding these captives. He emphasized this so much so that it was even those captives have testified to the fact that the Holy Prophet was indeed very kind to them, because he told his companion that you have to treat these people with generosity, with kindness, and no torture should be done to them. And you have to make sure you look after their food and after their basic needs. And these companions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, with the love they have for the Holy Prophet ﷺ, they were always ready to act upon the commandments of the Holy Prophet. And this is what exactly they did. And to clarify this, even one of the captives by the name Abu Aziz ibn Umair, he have mentioned this. He said, and I quote, he said, due to the exhortation of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that is the commandment he gave to the Ansari, he said, the Ansari will give me baked bread. He said, but they themselves will subsist on dates and other food. Because bread was a very nourishing food at the time. So to have bread, this was like that individual is having something. It's
like having the best food
exactly,
of the day.
The best kind of food that you can ever have. But because of that commandment, they act upon it to the extent that they will eat the lowest type of food and give the highest type of food to the captives. We do know that it's very important thing that we can learn from. That is the way masters behave towards their captives.
Exactly.
So, and also he continues to say, many a time it will so happen that even if they manage to procure a small piece of bread, even if they struggle to have that small bread, he said, they will give it to me and will not eat it themselves. This was a captive mentioning this, Abu Aziz ibn Umayr. He said, if I will ever return it to them in embarrassment, they would insist that I have it. Even if I want to tell them, no, take it back. Because he was ashamed of being captive.
He was embarrassed.
Embarrassed the way they are treating him also. Understand?
Yeah.
So he will want to return to them. They will say, no, you have to take it. Because they are acting upon the commandment of the Holy Prophet. But there are other people also who have mentioned this, and I believe we will come to that. So this was the way that the Holy Prophet treated the captives, to the extent that they give them what they are not even having. Thank you.
Some even have to give them their clothes.
Exactly.
Yeah, even a person like Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, who is very known in the history of Islam as a staunch opponent of the Prophet ﷺ, would himself have to come forward and give the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ his shirt, because some of them who were not even having clothes were all given shirts, and that example was that of Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, who was known as the chief of the hypocrites. So even such kind of people were so much kind-hearted at that moment to take care of captives who were coming from the opposing
example
side.
of that, Abbas, that is the paternal uncle of the Holy Prophet, was given.
So, Ustaz Alman Balajo, I think this is not only confined to Muslim literature and Muslim traditions, or let's say the Holy Quran. It's not just in our narrations. Even people who are not Muslims and who at some point will also criticize some actions of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Sir William Muir, would come forward and write in such eloquence about the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam treatment of the captives. Tell us about that. What did he say about the treatment of these captives?
Yes, wonderfully put. Like he mentioned, good person, whatever he does, is recognized by the outsiders. They admit it, they admit it, or they rather, or they will not admit it. But this man, at least this point, or many other occasions, he said he used to write very beautifully, specifically in this area. When he mentioned that, he said, in pursuance of the Muhammad, they call him Muhammad because he's not an Arabic. In pursuance of the Muhammad commands, the citizen of Medina and such of the refugees as those who are able to have their own houses and their own areas, they receive these prisoners and treat them with much consideration. He said, quoting one of the captives, he said, "Blessing be on the men of Medina," said one of the prisoners. He said, in later days, they would ride. He said, in later days, they will be riding, the prisoners will be riding, and
while they are captors.
While the captors will be walking, you understand? And they will give us bread, the best kind of bread, and they will be eating on date and the minor foodstuff that were there. He said, okay, it is not surprising that when Sir William still continued, when sometime afterward their friend come to ransom them, they will say, they will resist that no, we will not go. Even they were not Muslim themselves, but they will still prefer to be treated in that condition, even without being a Muslim. This is what Sir William has to say with this regard. Obviously, what the ex-companion has said, like Brother Said Sambozo has said, is the same what this man also, this historian, Sir William Muir, is saying, that the captives himself has testified to this. And then it's very beautifully put in history. That is how the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his companion treat their captives of war.
That's very important to stress on, because we know that in the Meccan history, before the Holy Prophet ﷺ, we call it the Jahiliyyah period, this was never practiced. Okay. When you are in a war with another faction and you happen to be defeated, your captors will either kill you, execute you, or they will make you permanent slaves. So the Holy Prophet ﷺ, due to the kind-heartedness he had, would not honor that tradition of the Arabs, because it was their tradition. He would not honor that tradition of the Arabs. He would rather choose to treat people with kindness than treat them like they treat him, because the Meccans themselves were hostile to the Prophet ﷺ. So at the point that he have the upper hand, he would not return their hostility to them, but he would rather treat them with such kindness that even staunch enemies of Islam will have to confess that this was absolutely amazing and excellent in the time that the Prophet ﷺ lived in. Exactly. But it is also an example for all of us as Muslims, that because the Holy Quran have told us that the best example we have is that of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will even want further to tell us that, to make sure that we understand that the best character is that of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He praised him for his character, not for any other thing.
The Holy Quran also has to say that وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ إِلَىٰ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا, if I quote the verse rightly. Let not the enmity of the people cause you to act unjustly. So human nature will have to be honored, one way or the other. He's on the enemy side or on the allied side, or your friends or your followers. Treat them with the best human dignity. This is what the Holy Prophet has to follow. And then he laid this example for the Muslim community to follow, not to follow the other religious belief with regard to war captives and then the other tradition, how they do. But the Muslims believe that is a Islamic Sharia, Islam has stipulated for us to take care of them. This is what you should do as a Muslim.
Thank you very much, Brother Alman Barajo, Ustaz Alman Balajurada. And Brother Said Samaso, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, he had people from his tribe, like the Quraysh, and let us say the Abdul Muttalib tribe, who were captured. And some of them actually were very close relatives to him. How were these people as well treated? Were they treated better than the others, or they were treated in the same manner as the others? Because anyone will expect, this is the uncle of the Prophet who is captured, this is his son-in-law, this is his this is his that. So the Sahabas might have want to treat them better than they treat the other captives. Was there anything of that sort?
Jazakumullah. You know, first of all, you see, the Holy Prophet is like a father to the entire nation, the whole world. So everybody is equal in his eye. So there is nothing like, this one is closer to me, so let me act unjustly towards him. Let me act justly, or let me help this person, but this other person I'm not related with him by blood, so I do not care. Most especially in a time of war, where people are ready to kill you whenever they have you. So we see that there are some of the relatives of the Holy Prophet who were also captured during this Battle of Badr. And as a result of that, they were also part of those 70 people. So they have to face the same consequences that those other people are facing. The like of Abbas, we have already mentioned him here, who was a paternal uncle of the Holy Prophet. And when we reflect back, we have discussed about this Abbas in one of the Bayat al-Aqaba.
A lot of times.
Exactly. Yeah. He accompanied the Holy Prophet during the mid of that night to go and meet with the Ansar who came from Medina to take the Bayat in the hand of the Holy Prophet.
And he was as well the one who was writing letters to the Prophet ﷺ, informing him about the movements and activities of the Meccans. Even on the Battle of Badr day, he ordered, the Prophet ﷺ would order that if men like Abbas were to be encountered, they should not be harmed. And even according to Abbas, he would say, the person who rescued him, who held him and brought him to the Prophet ﷺ, it was not the man who brought him to the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ would confirm that it was an angel of God who who came to save him.
So looking at that relationship with the Holy Prophet, what Abbas was having, the relationship, if it is somebody who is not sent as a mercy for the entire mankind, could have acted otherwise.
He would have favored him
exactly
above,
more than the other. But let us see what happened. And not only him, even Akil, who was a brother of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, and we all know is a direct brother to him. And we all know what the father of the Holy Prophet, Sayyidina Ali, and this Akil has done to the Holy Prophet. And in fact, Sayyidina Ali himself, who participated in this battle, and we said that he was even among the first people to start, you understand, to be chosen to go forth to start the battle. So you see how they are related. And also, Abu As bin Rabi, he was also the husband of the daughter of the Holy Prophet, Zainab. So all these people are very close relative to the Holy Prophet. But let us see what they have done. Most especially, let's take an example of Abbas. So while they are captured, it is recorded in history that there was a day that the Ansar, in fact, they were ready to release Abbas without ransom. Because the condition was that they have to pay ransom before they are released. But the Ansar were ready to release Abbas without any ransom, because looking at the relationship that they have with the Holy Prophet. But the Holy Prophet turned this back. He said that although it is accepted in Islam to release somebody without any ransom as a benevolence,
it is even encouraged.
It's encouraged, in fact. That's what the Holy Quran encouraged, as you say. But then the Holy Prophet did not want to do so. He wanted to make sure that whatever is done to other people, the same thing should be done to his relatives also. Because he's a teacher, so we have to learn from him the best. That is justice that we are learning here. So, and it is in fact recorded when there was a day when he was tied in the mosque of the Holy Prophet. He was groaning. There was a shout that he was making, which resulted to the Holy Prophet not able to sleep in that night. So when the Ansar realized that the Holy Prophet is disturbed by this cry, they went and loosened the bond of the tie. So after a while, the Holy Prophet could not hear anything, any sound. So he realized that something has happened. Either he has died or either he have been removed from that situation. So he came out and realized that he have been removed from that situation. So he asked the Ansar, if you do that to Abbas, then you have to do it to all other people.
Like if you loosen the knot.
Yes, if you loosen the bond, you lose all other bonds also, not only him. So they acted upon this, and they also went and loosened the bonds of other captives. So what we observe here, the Holy Prophet acted justly towards everybody. There was nothing like kind of bending towards somebody to favor him because he's a relative or not. So this is a great lesson that we have to learn from.
Thank you very much, Brother Said Samaso. Ustaz Almami Balajo, I think the time we are left with is not that much, but there are two individuals that we just have to talk about, and that is Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayt. He was one of the chiefs of Mecca, and it is recorded in some narrations that he was also as well a captive in the Battle of Badr. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ ordered that he should be executed. And there was also another guy, but let's concentrate for now on Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayt before we reach Nadr bin Harith. Was Utbah executed in the Battle of Badr after being captured, or did he die in the Battle of Badr, or did he survive all that?
Okay, this matter also is a delicate one, it's a subtle one, because there are a lot of narration with regard to this particular man, Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayt. So this man, what actually happened was, even prior to the Battle of Badr itself in history, but before I bring the rebuttal, people said, a lot of the people, they believe that they alleged the Holy Prophet and the Muslim that he didn't free all the captives, but rather he killed some of them as being a captive. This is wrong. This is.
And that they mentioned the names of these two individuals. These two individuals.
Exactly.
Mu'ayt.
Yes. So this is not correct. It's not correct at all. It's not correct because the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not do that one. What actually happened was, after, even before the Battle of Badr, these people were always taunting the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, disturbing him, mocking him, whatever manner they can do. They will be laughing at him so many occasions. Even it come in hadith once. Abdullah bin Mas'ud will relate this. He said, once I was watching, I was near the house of Allah, Kaaba, while the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was praying. So Abu Jahl, who used to be called Abu Hakam, and then some other people of the chieftains of the Quraysh, like the Abu Jahl, Utbah bin Rabi'ah, Shayba bin Rabi'ah, Al-Walid bin Utbah, Umayyah bin Khalaf, and Uqbah bin Al-Mu'id, the particular person we are talking about. The seventh one, the narrator said, I couldn't remember who the seventh person was. But this Uqbah bin Al-Mu'id was part of these particular people who did this heinous crime, which I'm about to relate. When he was prostrating, he went to the prostration, while this Abu Hakam or Abu Jahl, the Abu Jahl gathered some people to call them to bring some animal intestine, abdominal materials. And then
camel intestine.
Yeah,
it was.
Camel intestine. They brought it for him, and then what he did, he placed it upon the shoulder of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam while he was prostrating. In this situation, it was very hard on him. So they were around laughing at him. Look what you. They just laugh at him, mocking at him. It was Hazrat Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha who came to remove these materials, nasty material, from the back of the shoulders of the Holy Prophet while he was in the prostration. So after coming up from the prostration, so he prayed loudly against these people for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring curse upon them. Then he mentioned this particular name. This Uqbah bin Al-Mu'id was part of these people, and their leader was Abu Jahl. So they were annoyed with the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam instantly when he prayed against them, because they knew that whatever he prayed for, whatever he said, it became truth. So,
and especially in the courtyard of the Kaaba.
Especially in the courtyard of the Kaaba, exactly. So
that prayer just terrified them, because they knew this will surely be accepted. This is Muhammad. They knew Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
And then after the battle has finished, the people, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, buried in the enemy side. The Sahaba said, Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, I counted this man among those people who was being buried.
Yeah, he testified that he saw all those people who were mocking at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam there spot, at the courtyard of the Kaaba, and that include also Uqbah ibn Abi Mu'ayt. Exactly. So, brother Said Samaso, that is already settled, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam will not pray against you, and you would be saved. Even we will see that even people who hated him so much, like one of his uncles called Abu Lahab, who did not participate in the battle, but according to the divine decree, they were also dead. Yeah, just few days after the Battle of Badr. So, Said Samaso, let's talk about Nadr bin Harith. Was he executed, or did he survive execution? What is our point there?
Yes, there are also narration regarding this man, Nadr bin Harith.
Nadr, we have only few seconds. Just tell us the important parts of
so
that.
he was executed according to some narration, but the execution is not with no reason, just because of the enmity that he have against the Muslim. But there are a lot of reasons that why he was executed. It's stated here, the reason for his execution was that he was among the people who were directly responsible for the death of those innocent Muslims who had been killed, martyred at the hands of the Quraysh in Mecca. This is among the key reasons that why he was executed. So, in general, he was executed according to this, because there is no time. Maybe in our next episode we will try to talk more on this man, inshallah.
Yeah, and I think he was directly responsible for the death of Harith bin Abi Hala. And if he was executed, he was executed because of those crimes.
Exactly.
And that is acceptable in anywhere you go. Because even if you consider what these people have done before, even if they were executed, it was right for them to have been executed. But the Prophet ﷺ was so lenient to all these people. Thank you very much, gentlemen. This is all time allowed us. Dear viewers, this is all time allowed us. We were talking about today about the treatment of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the Muslims, their treatment of the captives of the war, and that was the war, the battle between the Muslims and the people of Mecca, and that was the Battle of Badr. We have seen how the Prophet ﷺ and his Sahabas graciously treated these captives of war, and they treated them in a manner that even the captives themselves will later on confess that the treatment of the Muslims was very exceptional, and that will even bring some of them into the fold of Islam. Even those who fail to come into the fold of Islam would have a positive impression about Islam. This is all what Islam is about. This is all time allowed us from us MTA International Gambia Studios. We say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
صل على مبيننا صل على محمد صل على نبينا صل على